Ali, I think you missed a question in there. I'm not sure if you answered because I had to come in as a delegate just to remove myself.
Sure.
There was a question about when you would what do you feel will happen to the house prices in 2021? Can you see that question?
Do you know what? I'm so sorry I missed it. I was just, I'm a man, so I can only concentrate on a certain amount of things at once. What do I think will happen to house prices in 2021? I personally don't think there'll be a huge amount of movement. I think what will happen in 2021 is the heightened level of activity that we've seen in the last few months will die off a little bit. I don't think it will be, I don't think it will be a big problem. I don't think it'll be a drastic drop. But of course, I do think that will maybe slow down the rate of increase that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 months. So that's my personal opinion. I don't think there'll be a huge amount of change, but I think it'll be a little bit less busy.
I think some of the concerns of the person asking the question, please excuse me because my chat has refreshed now, was due to redundancies and, we know that the furlough scheme's ending this month and there's proposed redundancies for the future. But I think you're right. I think we've been quite surprised at how busy prices have been, how high prices have rose, but also how busy the market has been. But I think there is a lot of there's a lot of opportunity for people at the moment, and I think that particularly surrounds around the stamp duty. I think there's a lot of people taking advantage of that, which is why the market's a little bit buoyant. So it will be an interesting year, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, depending on who you speak to, depends on the opinion that you get out there. But yeah, there's a lot of variables that we a lot of it's going to come down to seeing what happens when they're drawn. Really.
Can I jump back in there? I think this question, this is a perennial question. If you had recorded these webinars, I know you've only been doing them this year, but if you've been recording webinars for the last 10 years, that is the most common question is ever asked, and every year nobody knows the answer. but if you shouldn't be buying property for 18 months.
No.
I would say it's a 10-year strategy, really, as a minimum, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yes, redundancies, all that sort of thing. It is an issue, but we've all got to live somewhere. So one way or the other, we have to, as a society, we've got to make sure people are not homeless. That means private landlords have to consider housing benefit or a transition to housing benefit. I don't mean getting rid of a tenant. You might have a tenant that is employed today, but might be unemployed in January. They may be on housing benefit.
Yeah.
Well, universal credit now, Mr. Dodd. We must be factually correct.
Okay, but nevertheless, I think we just can't let people. We can't put people on the street as a nation.
No.
So that and without getting political, I think the government will decide to plug that gap if they have to, because the cost to society as a whole is just. We don't even want to think about it, do we, really, if we went down that road? So, yeah, it is a concern, but is it a massive concern for me? I think things work their way out.
I think this question as well is quite interesting with the people that like to flip properties. So if you think about people in 2007 when the market crashed, you could buy something for, I don't know, such a low price, and then you could, flip it and turn it. But we just don't know, do we? We don't have a crystal ball, and I really, really wish we did in some cases. But I'm with you, Martin. I think property is more of a long-term investment than, despite all the TV shows that we watch and buy properties at auctions and make 50, 70 grand profit, I do think property is more of a long-term gain, long-term journey.
Definitely.
Buy to let is definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Just quick.
Thank you again, Martin.
There's a couple of questions here about buy to let versus holiday let. Now, personally, I don't really have any experience of holiday lets. I don't suppose either of you two do.
I have a little bit of experience. Well, I think so. Well, certainly a holiday let in the UK now, I think, has definitely got some mileage in certain parts of the country. So, and I think there will be a sea shift in how people holiday in the UK. So, for all we all want to go flying abroad in the future, I don't think it necessarily will happen at a click of a finger. So holiday lets, yes, they definitely work in the right area. So yeah, I think there's definitely a market. I've actually got a client at the moment who has got a holiday property that he just uses exclusively for himself in Padstow, in the main high street, and his next door neighbour property has come on the market. It's a 2-bed cottage with about 6 square foot of backyard, and it's on the market for 425,000. And he is buying it as a buy-to-let before he actually moves down there full time. So, you know, and he believes that so the yields are probably not, I don't know, you can tell me what if the yields are any good, Ali, but he will get £800 a week, probably from early May to October each year.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, I mean, a big investment to do something like that, but I think £800 a month, that's a week. A week. That's all right.
I think just like with HMOs though, Martin, and I was listening to your section earlier, and as a HMO landlord, I know you've experienced it. This pandemic has kind of made us think about the unthinkable, because I personally feel like holiday lets in the UK, and knowing that, you know, your wife owns 2 holiday lets, one outside of the UK and one in Wales, the pandemic has had a real impact on her ability to let both pieces of accommodation this year, and always have some sort of disaster management in play, because unlike the buy-to-let market, which has been phenomenal, and you know, we've maintained rental income and we have still had tenants paying rent, those 2 holiday lets, I know for your wife in particular, have taken a massive impact this year on their rental.
They have. Spain definitely has, because it's off territory for us now in reality, and as is Wales now. But whilst Wales was open,
it was very busy.
Absolutely permanently let. You couldn't book it.
I bet. We holidayed in Wales this year.
The pandemic is not here forever.
It's not, but I'm saying just always have and this is just what the pandemic's made me think of. What is the worst case scenario? Like, you know, that crystal ball we need. If only we had that last year and we could have all planned our businesses and knew what was going to happen.
Absolutely.
Cash reserve, essential. You know, and that's good housekeeping.
Yeah. And it is, and it brings me back to the HMOs as well. I think that was a particular buy-to-let market that struggled through the pandemic, because we were so restricted on what we could do with HMOs, because quite simply of the mixing of households. So whilst they got the property market moving again, you know, before any other industry, HMOs were seriously affected because they are a big mixing of households. So with the good and with the things that you know, give positive cash flow, you do have to be prepared for how you will handle it if there is a major problem like a pandemic. And I think that just falls back to your presentation, Martin, that cash reserves is the answer. Always be able to deal with worst case scenario.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's another question coming about Brexit, actually. I don't know whether any view on that one. My very, very quick response to that is nobody knows. But it goes back to the question, do you buy now or after Brexit? I think if you're a buyer, you're a buyer at the end of the day. And we can, you know, whenever you're buying property or investing in anything, you can always come up with more reasons not to do it than you can come up for doing it.
Yep.
And I think you just, you know, as an investor in anything, you have to bite the bullet one day. And so to me, Brexit is it? It's not an issue. In the buy-to-let market, I don't think it really is. Just my opinion. Don't hold me to it.
Again, it comes down to very much what's your plan? What are you looking to achieve out of it? Have you done the numbers work? Are you happy with the deal? Or you know, once you've done that, you'll find something that ticks the box, whether it's pre-Brexit or you know, post-Brexit. It's about, does it fit for you and does it work for your criteria? It's as simple as that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Right. I think you need to get on, Ali.
Well, I'm going to let you crack on, Ali, and I will see you shortly, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks again, Martin. Appreciate it.